seen so many inaccuracies and mistruths stated as facts, so let me put corrections out there.
That is arrogantly rich coming from the same person that said this.
No, Legends Arceus hasn't only had 1 year of development. Nobody outside of the Pokemon company, Game Freak, Nintendo actually knows how long it has had.
Yet again, something else that is belligerently rich. But then again, that same person said this, which means they're clearly lacking in self-awareness.
No, Legends Arceus isn't being released early. What we saw is an alpha build of the game. This is where most features and assets are done, but before the polish stage and the bug fix stage that deals with things like fixing frame rates, etc. That doesn't mean it was shown way too early or has years left to get it good. Anyone who says otherwise, especially if they're trying to state things from a position of authority,
again with that blatant lack of self-awareness,
doesn't actually know how game development works. Be wary of people contorting the truth.
Why is it that there are these assholes that feel the need to act like a goddamn hero every single time they see anything, especially if it's on the internet, that gives them even a little bit of discomfort, instead of just going on with their lives or getting a life and doing something better with their time? I guess everybody's a fucking nut job, arbitrarily setting themselves out on a fool's errand to fix the world because of everything in it that they don't like. Alright, it's been a while since I did a piece on this guy. In fact, it was just merely a little over 3 months ago since Joe, arbiter of facts, pulled the same thing with Sylph Spectre. See, people like Joe love to pretend that they have the answers to every fucking thing. And speaking of contorting things, that's what people like him love to do. They love to contort their ego with what they think they know, because I guess running a Pokemon information site somehow qualifies him to know more than everyone else, when he did nothing more than a bunch of dude just trust me's in a mere 3 tweets. Why do people like Joe think they have the answers? After all, Joe, nobody outside of the Pokemon company, Game Freak, and Nintendo actually knows how long it has had. So why are you sitting up here pretending you're putting any kind of corrections out there if they're the only ones that actually know? But that's just what Joe loves to delusionally believe. He issues corrections to everyone to protect his precious pow Game Freak from misinformation, lies, and contorted truths. Yeah, that's the latest and greatest one. I mean, Joe totally wasn't stating things as if he was in a position of authority here. No, he totally knows how his reflection looks in any mirror. And youngster Joey, while we're on the subject of contorting the truth, I don't see you issuing your classic egotistical corrections to your girlfriend when she said this shit.
I think a lot of people owe the Game Freak staff an apology for assuming they are lazy and reusing 3DS models / animations.
Even though Game Freak's laziness, among other things, was exposed by their own beta. Not only does it look like Greninja has a black eye for some reason, I guess Pikachu fucked them up really bad, but that looks like the exact same Greninja as well as Pikachu used in Pokemon games prior to Sword and Shield. Why does Marty get a free pass? She wants the Pokemon community to apologize for not getting down on all fours like you, her, and many others do to blindly enable them, while contorting the truth the models were indeed reused. We can't help it because you tools don't have the balls to accept the reality of what you gatekeep, because that's your shtick and gimmick attached to your bad acting. And what exactly is her reaction for suggesting people apologize for not helping her cover up a lie? Well, to make a long story short, her and youngster Joey are pretty much peas in a pod. It's the classic reaction people with no integrity and intelligence, for that matter, run to when they've made an ass out of themselves. They slither right back up into their victimhood. She's been attacked, and suddenly that tweet in question, yeah, this one right here, was just a throwaway tweet that got out of hand. In other words, she simped to something in ignorance, said something stupid as a result, and made a massive gas out of herself. Yeah, people like you and your fiance, youngster Joey, do not get to bitch and moan about people making few constructive arguments backed up with facts. Again, the symbiotic lack of self-awareness. How's that for contorting the truth while trying to save self-righteous face? But this doesn't make sense. This is absolutely unnecessary to defend. How about a bit of common sense? Because here's the thing. When you talk about something at face value, especially when it comes to explaining how something works, that's just a no shit Sherlock moment you're having with yourself. No one has to know how game development works to things that are making them suspicious of Pokemon Legends Arceus. I didn't comment too much on the graphics, and by the way, any comparisons to Breath of the Wild is just people being hopeful. There's no comparison in graphics, clearly, and I think people are taking the whole open world experience that they are hoping for from this game and running a bit too far with it, considering Game Freak's track record. I mean, I don't think anyone needs to be reminded of Sword and Shield's many shortcomings. With all of that said, Joe, that Chingling is stuttering. That Chingling is stuttering. That Chingling is struggling. See what I did there? Mr. Corrections, do you not find it odd that they presented nothing more than this half-baked footage of the game prior to the release dates and box art for the games, and that's it? They could have easily led with release dates and the box art, which would have been preferable if this is the best they can present to us as any kind of presentation. Yeah, it is odd that this is the only footage so far, summer and E3 withstanding, and the next time we hear anything about the games, once again, there's only box art and release dates for them to show. No more footage, nothing to show any kind of progress made so far beyond release dates and box art. Why isn't that alone enough for people to be suspicious of the state of Pokemon Legends Arceus technically? And Joe, don't act like you know shit about game development. You are a webmaster, not a part of Game Freak's R&D staff. Please show me your employee badge that proves otherwise. Better yet, beyond your
Dude, just trust me tweets
on Twitter, every time you get a little discomfort from the Pokemon community, every single time they go after your Pow Game Freak, do you care to show any actual admissible evidence that shows any updated footage, any charts, graphs, anything to make it look like you know a fucking thing about game development yourself? Being a webmaster and developing games are two completely different things, kiddo. Try to stop pretending that you are actually issuing any corrections from your egotistical position of authority. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about? Pretend others don't and are contorting the truth, but yet your only argument is,
that's not how game development works.
Gee, it's almost like you're inadvertently self-reflecting here after all. So yeah, guys, that's typical Joe Merrick. We get this early release date. You can't get any earlier than January of a new year, by the way. And so far, we've only seen some very troubled footage, to say the least. Release dates and box art for the upcoming Pokemon games. Not to mention that the Diamond and Pearl remakes are right around the corner before Pokemon Legends Arceus. People have a right to wonder, are these games rushed? Did they come out the oven a bit too early? And it looks like people are revving up for another 2019 and 2021 with the brain dead gatekeeping, because they're just too fucking insecure and doubtful of their precious Paw Game Freak any and every time someone dares to think for themselves and cast a critical eye on things after everything is said and done, history repeating itself, and just simply paying attention to things rather than listening to bad actors in their own self-righteous position of authority. Joe Merrick does not get a pass because he's the Cerebi guy. The thing with people like Joe Merrick is that they love to get involved in all kinds of controversy on the internet, especially surrounding Pokemon, and when it overwhelms them, they're suddenly a fucking victim the next second. If you can't take it, don't fucking dish it. That's just the nature of the beast. You have a lot of people that are passionate, they have their opinions, they feel differently than you do, and people like Joe Merrick can't seem to handle that. So therefore, that bothers them, and then they must rile themselves up in their little self-absorbed position of authority bubble and feel the need to go on this fucking crusade to fix everyone and everything. Let people have their opinions. Let people feel the way that they want to feel. Quit pretending that every time someone contorts the truth or spouts some kind of misinformation, it's a personal attack against you instead. But yet you're the fucking hero with all of the answers, right? Again, it all adds up. The release dates for the Diamond and Pearl remakes as well as Pokemon Legends Arceus are already close enough. Yeah, Pokemon Legends Arceus isn't the first time a main series Pokemon game or whatever the fuck it's supposed to be has released that early in the year, but then you end up seeing footage like this, putting the pieces together, and suddenly
Game footage is not final.
ends up being a crutch because that seems to be the only excuse you can offer at this point to explain why we only got this, release dates and box art. So whatever way you feel about the games, it is what it is. You either buy it or you don't. But nothing takes away from criticism, ladies and gents. Regardless of all of these self-righteous assholes out here trying to be arbiters of truth, they're scared. They want to hush you up as a result. Deep down, they're the ones that are doubtful of what they call themselves ourselves, factually defending.